Hello students, plants and animals. Today we'll study the global warming. So before going to the global warming, first we are going to study that what are the causes due to the droughts. Now, global warming, just a minute, let me take the pointer. So global warming, the main thing is that the temperature of the weather that increases, right? That's why we are calling the total earth is warm now. Now, whenever there is a deforestation, whenever there is deforestation, and without the with that means beyond limit, at that time you can see that there will be some drought, or another thing can happen, that is the level of water in the ponds and rivers goes down, and in some cases water bodies get dried up completely. You can see that the river, the ponds, they dried in the summertime, and level of the water also, the ponds and rivers also goes down. So the water, that is very necessary important thing to live any human being or any animal, though that the water they could not get, right? So the groundwater becomes scarce, that means scarcity of groundwater that arises, scarcity of groundwater arises, and this leads to the drought. This leads to the drought. Now, if drought condition is there, at that time it is very difficult for any animal to live there. So that's why life gets difficult and many animals perish in such conditions. So these are the different causes due to the drought, and now we will see what happens. Now, desertification. Now, formation of the desert. So, drought for several years, you can see that this becomes desert. That places becomes desert. Okay, and formation of desert by erosion of vegetation due to harsh weather is called the desertification. Okay, it's called the desertification. That means your desert has been formed by what? By erosion of vegetation. There is no vegetation and harsh weather, very warm weather, there is no rainwater, and also the groundwater, underground water level is so low that you cannot get that water easily. So that at that time, this condition, this is called the desertification. And human activities like deforestation and improper irrigation that are responsible for the desertification of the terrains. So the main cause of desertification, first one, that is the deforestation, because due to the deforestation the water cycle will be affected, and also due to this deforestation you can see that the rainfall will be low, and sometimes there is no rainfall at all, and the underground water level that is also very low. So rainfall is low, or at least no rainfall may be there. Underground water level is very low, and due to all these reasons the deforestation is the main reason for the desertification. And another thing that is also an important point, that is the improper irrigation. That's why also we can get the desertification. So this is the desertification. So in this slide, whatever we have studied, that is desertification. What is desertification? This is a condition or formation of the desert by erosion of vegetation due to harsh weather. That is called the desertification. And the human activity, this is responsible for the desertification. First human activity, that is the deforestation, and second, that is improper irrigation. Okay, so these 2 points are very important, which are responsible for the desertification of the terrains. Now, the global warming. So, what we have done deforestation. Due to deforestation, we have just hampered our water cycle. We have changed the weather. That means the climate is too hot, and that's why the global warming, that term now we can hear. So, global warming, this is the change in the climate. This is the change in the climate on a global level. Okay, and average temperature increases leading to melting of ice caps in the poles. So we have South Pole and North Pole, right? And North Pole. And you know that in the, if I draw this one, you know that in the equator you have most of the sun rays. Okay, in the equator most of the sun rays you have, and this is very high temperature region. Okay, this is very high temperature region. But the south pole and the north pole, in this pole area, let me draw very fine. Okay, so in this pole area, this one is the north pole and this one is the south pole. So in this pole area you can see that there in this pole area, the temperature is very low. That's why we can see they are glaciers and we can see they are ice. So the ice will melt due to the temperature increase in the weather, and that's why excessive pollution and deforestation cause the global warming. So for the global warming, that the temperature we are going to increase, we are responsible to increase. Then excessive pollution also because of the vehicle industrialization, excessive pollution also we have. And deforestation, obviously we are doing the deforestation. Some natural calamities also responsible, but not only the natural calamities, because they are very much rare case for the deforestation. They are responsible for the deforestation, they are very much rare case, but we are doing every day, we are doing the work every day, the industrialization for the habitation, and we are doing for culture, for cultivation we require land, and whatever we are doing, just burning, just making the fire of the forestation, and that's why, and in the ashes of the that place we are making the cultivation. So we are doing all those things. That means that due to this, the excessive pollution, and this pollution, why this pollution? Because if deforestation, then carbon dioxide, where it will go? It will be in your air, and in the air, if inside the air carbon dioxide amount is very high, and also the pollutions, that means CFC is also very high, at that time you can see that due to this, the air around yourself, that has been polluted, and this is pollution. And in Delhi, in our India, in Delhi, this is in high alert for the pollution. So, and the deforestation, all this causes the global warming. So global warming means what? From this slide we have studied, global warming means there is a change of climate on the global level, and this change is called the global warming. And as the temperature increasing, so the ice, or whatever the ice you have in the north pole and south pole areas, those will be melting, and excessive pollution will be there. Not only north pole south pole, I'm not telling about north pole south pole, because in the north pole and south pole few habitation is there, but other than these two poles, you can see that the world, we have a huge population, and according to the huge population, huge number of vehicles we are using, and all the vehicles, they are releasing the whatever the gases, these are very much infectious, very much dangerous for us. So that causes the pollution. And deforestation also one reason, because most of the things what happen, if carbon dioxide has been released from any vehicle, then that will be absorbed by the trees. But now deforestation we have done for any reason, that is not the matter, but we have done deforestation, so that's why the trees are not there, they cannot absorb and they cannot make the sink of the carbon dioxide, and that's why the ozone layer also has been affected, and this is the reason why the global warming causes. Okay, next. So the global warming definition, the global warming is a gradual increase, just a minute. Global warming, this is a gradual increase in the Earth's temperature, generally due to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, CFCs, and the pollutants. Carbon dioxide, CFCs, and the pollutants. Okay, so the definition is that the global warming is a gradual increase in the Earth's temperature that generally due to greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, CFCs, and other pollutants. Now, greenhouse effect, just a minute. So greenhouse effect, first we have to understand this term. This is the way in which heat is trapped close to Earth's surface by greenhouse gases. So the greenhouse effect is the way in which heat is trapped close to Earth's surface by greenhouse gases. Okay, by greenhouse gases. And these heat trapping gases can be thought of a gas blanket wrapped around the earth. So that is, you can see that this is wrapped around the earth. Here you can see this is wrapped around the earth. Okay, and keeping the planet toastier than it would be without them. So these heat trapping gases can be thought of as a blanket wrapped around the earth and keeping the planet toastier than it would be without them. Okay, so this is the greenhouse effect. That means the whatever the heat that cannot go to the higher level of the atmosphere, right? So this is the greenhouse effect, and due to the increase of the levels of carbon dioxide, CFCs, and other pollutants, the greenhouse effect that will occur, and due to that, global warming will occur. Now, what is global warming? Global warming is the phenomenon of a gradual increase in the temperature near the Earth's surface. So, let this is the Earth. Okay. Now, over this, there is a layer. Okay. So, the heat of the earth that cannot move away from this place because due to these greenhouse gases. And this global warming, this is the phenomenon of the gradual increase in the temperature near the earth surface. Near the earth surface. Suppose this is near the earth surface. And this phenomenon has been observed over the past 1 or 2 centuries, and this change has disturbed the climatic pattern of the earth. Totally, it has disturbed the climatic pattern of the earth, and the concept of global warming is quite controversial. and so many things also we are going to find out the greenhouse, how to reduce this one. Now the greenhouse, that means greenhouse, that means a house made of a glass that can be used to grow the plants. So the sun's radiations warm the plants and the air inside the greenhouse. The heat trapped inside can't escape out and warms the greenhouse, which is essential for the growth of the plant. Same is the case in the Earth's atmosphere. So now greenhouse, that we will study a lot of things regarding the greenhouse effect also. Now this is the global warming. So that means the global warming, this is the phenomenon of a gradual increase in the temperature near the Earth's surface. Now there are several causes of the global warming which have a negative effect on humans. So global warming, this due to this, human being will be affected, plants will be affected, animals will be affected. Okay. So this cause may be natural or might be the outcome of human activities, but we don't know these three categories, human, plants and animals, all of us will be sufferers. Now, here you can see in this picture, this is a vehicle and this is the oil and petrol engines, CFCs, deforestation. Due to deforestation, and this is industrial, the year of greenhouse gases and fossil fuels here. And there is a layer here that has been built up where the absorbed by the atmosphere and earth, this is the sunlight, and this will absorb the sun heat, but escaping radiation, that we are just opposite, right? So the radiation absorbed by the greenhouse gases, again it is coming back to this place. So in order to curb these issues, it is very important to understand the negative impacts of the global warming. Global warming. Now causes of global warming, first cause, that is the deforestation. Plants are main oxygen we are getting from plants, right? Also, they are taking the carbon dioxide, right? So they take the carbon dioxide and release oxygen, thereby maintaining the environmental balance between the oxygen percentage and the carbon dioxide percentage. But if there is no forest, that means no trees, that means there is a disbalance will occur in between the carbon dioxide, O2 and CO2 percentage. Okay. And forests are being depleted for many domestic and commercial reasons, and this may lead to the environmental imbalance and thereby giving rise to the global warming. So deforestation is the main problem that is due to which the global warming occurs. Next is the use of vehicles, right? Everyone nowadays, you can see that they are using the vehicles. Now it has been developed the electric vehicles that will reduce the pollution. But before the invention of this electric vehicle, we have seen that all the vehicles, they are using some fuel. Okay, they are using some fuel, like some of them are using diesel, some of them using petrol. But whatever, at that time, and also in one time, there the trains, they were running they were running with the help of coal. They, and also now we have the electricity generation plant where we are using the coal. So coal, that means it's a carbon material and carbon dioxide will be released at that time. So the use of the vehicles, even for very short distance or long distance, gaseous emissions will be there, and it emits a large amount of carbon dioxide and other toxins into the atmosphere that results the temperature increase. Here you can see that the global warming causes and effects: rapid industrialization, Rising temperature, the effect is that rising temperature. Energy use, we are using electricity, we are using, for individual case, we are using fuels. So rising sea levels and agricultural practices, that is unpredictable, deforestation, consumer practices, livestock, transport, resource extraction, pollution, all these things we are doing. So these are the main impact. These are the main causes, and we have so many impact, that is increase in extreme weather events, land degradation, loss of wildlife and biodiversity. And here we can see that displaced people, poverty, loss of livelihood, hunger, malnutrition, increased risk of the diseases, global food, water shortage, all these social impacts we have of the global warming. So global warming that just destroy the social activity of us. We will be displaced from one place to another place, because to search the water, in search of the water, we'll move. We will be suffering from poverty. We are not able to autoimmunity system that already destroyed, and hunger, malnutrition, that will just wrap us, and that will be wrap us. And you can see that there will be a time when you cannot take the food also, you do not have the food also, and there are increased risk of the diseases. So global food and water shortages are there. So these are the different and huge effect of the huge cause and effects of the global warming. Now the chlorofluorocarbon, that is the CFC. Okay, so that is the CFC. Now, with the excessive use of air conditioners, refrigerators, can you tell me any one of your friend which do not have in their home, they do not have the refrigerator, obviously. And if you feel the backside of the refrigerator, just you put your hand, uh, don't touch the area, but put your hand, you can see that it is heat will be released from that side. And for the air conditioner, if you have the air conditioner, and most of the cases, the heat is so dangerous now, and heat temperature is so high that every one of our house we have the air conditioner. And if you see the air conditioner, whatever the air that is taking out from your home and that will be throwing outside, that means in the atmosphere, that air is a very hot air. So this is at these activities, that means excessive use of air conditioner, refrigerators, humans have been adding CFCs into the environment, CFCs, chlorofluorocarbon, into the environment, and which affects the atmosphere ozone layer. Here you can see the ozone layer. Now you can see the depth of the ozone layer. Ozone, this is very, very important because it protects us from the ultraviolet ray which comes from the sun. It protects us from the ultraviolet ray. Ultraviolet ray. Okay. So the ozone layer, it will protect us from the ultraviolet ray coming from the sun. But if the ultraviolet ray will hit us, then we will die. So the ozone layer that protects the Earth's surface from many harmful ultraviolet rays emitted by the sun, and the CFCs have led to ozone layer depletion, making way for the ultraviolet rays. Here you can see that the depth of the ozone layer that has been decreased due to the CFCs. So if it is the depth of the ozone layer will be decreased, that means easily the ultraviolet ray, they can come to inside, they can penetrate inside our atmosphere or troposphere, inside the troposphere, because whatever the area we have in our case, that is the troposphere, so that will affect the troposphere. And here you can see that this chlorofluorocarbon, this is very dangerous thing which reduces the depth of the ozone layer. And if ozone layer depth is very less, at that time you can see that the ultraviolet ray, which are very harmful for our skin, also for our plants also, those they may penetrate in our troposphere, and it can affect us also. Okay. Now, industrial development. This is another reason for the global warming. Industrial development. Now, we are going for the industrialization. Industrialization. We are going for industrialization. First reason, that is to make product. Why? As per demand, right? Industrialization for employment. Industrialization for upgradation of society. That is also one reason, right? So for all these reasons, we are doing the industrialization. But due to the industrialization, the temperature of the earth that has been increasing rapidly, and harmful emission from the factories. You can see that there is a chimney in every factory, and in this chimney there will be the emissions of the gases are there. And here you can see that the harmful emissions from the factories that increases the temperature of the earth. Also it just add the carbon dioxide and another CFCs also from these, another CFCs from these industries. So in 2013, Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change reported that increase in the global temperature between 1880 to 2012 is 0.9 degrees Celsius, and the increase is 1.1 degrees Celsius when compared to the pre-industrial mean temperature. So here you can see that whenever we do not have the industry, that means a very less amount of industry, and with respect to that, if we compare, then we have increased the temperature 1.1%. And here, due to the industrialization, we are going for the global warming also. It is facilitating us in many ways. The employment, it makes us the product which as per our demand, and the society also that has been upgraded, we know that. But here one problem is that due to the industrialization, there will be effect on the global warming. Now the agriculture. Agriculture. One agriculture that I can remember, that I have shown one picture also, that is the agriculture on the ashes by deforestation. And various farming activities produce the carbon dioxide and methane gas. These are methane gas. These are very much dangerous for us. And these add to the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and increase the temperature of the earth. And increase the temperature of the earth. Okay, so this will increase the greenhouse gases, and it will just increase the temperature of the earth. Now, greenhouse effect already we know, and greenhouse gases, these are the gases that absorb the infrared radiation. I am writing here. You can note down greenhouse gases are the gases that absorb the infrared radiations and create a greenhouse effect. As for example, carbon dioxide, CFCs. These are the greenhouse gases. So greenhouse gases are the gases that absorb the infrared radiation and create a greenhouse effect. Okay. So the major contribution is the CFC, and There are different causes of the greenhouse effect: burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, farming, industrial waste, and landfills. And there are so many effects of the greenhouse effect, that is global warming. So here you can see that global warming, depletion of ozone layer, smoke and air pollution, and acidification of water bodies, runaway greenhouse effect. So there are different effects here. Now, overpopulation also, the main thing why we are going to increase the land area by deforestation. That is the main thing, that population that is going beyond the limit. And this leads to the increase of carbon dioxide and primary gas, causing the global warming in the atmosphere. And natural causes of the global warming: volcanoes, water vapor. So volcanoes eruption, that also causes the global warming. This is the largest natural contributor. The ash, that smoke emitted during the volcanic eruption, that goes out into the atmosphere and affects the climate. Obviously, you can see that if there is a volcanic eruption, you cannot move, you cannot go just nearby it, so you cannot withstand that much heat. So the heat due to the volcanic eruption, this heat will increase the total temperature of the climate, and that causes the global warming. Another thing, that is the water vapor. Water vapor is a kind of greenhouse gas, and due to increase in the earth's temperature, more water gets evaporated from the water bodies and stays in the atmosphere, adding to the global warming. So more water will be, because the temperature is very high, so more water will be evaporated. So we are not getting the water in the underground. So underground water level is so less. That's why you can see that global warming has been introduced. Now, melting the permafrost. So permafrost is a frozen soil that has environmental gases trapped in it for several years and is present below the Earth's surface. So that is the permafrost. So permafrost is the frozen soil that has environmental gases trapped in it for several years and is present below the Earth's surface. It is present in glaciers. Here you can see the picture. This is the in the glaciers. As the permafrost melts, it releases the gas vapor back into the atmosphere, and which increases the Earth's temperature. And due to that, the global warming will occur. Due to that, the global warming will occur. Another reason, that is the forest blaze. Forest blazes or forest fires, it emits a large amount of temperature. That will emit large amount of carbon dioxide. Also, large amount of heat will be produced, and that's why the global warming will occur. So the gases, whatever that released due to the forest fires, forest fires, that will release into the atmosphere, and it will increase the Earth's temperature. That is cause the that will make the global warming. Okay, so melting permafrost and forest blazes, these are also the reason for the global warming. Now, effects of global warming. First thing, rising temperature. Now the global warming has led to an incredible increase in Earth's temperature, as we have seen that 1 degree temperature has been increased from 1880, and this is result is increase of melting of the glaciers. Okay, so temperature increase, temperature increase, that will occur. Glaciers melt, and sea level increases, the sea level. So some devastating effects of the sea level increase. If sea level will increase, at that time you can see that some flood or tsunami, like this type of act may happen. Okay, so If the temperature increases, you can see that the glaciers will melt, the temperature increases due to global warming, sea level will increase, and that may cause flood. Also, due to this temperature increase, it may be there will be some tsunami also, right? Tsunami type, like this type of devastating effects also in the coastal regions also we have to face. Now, threats to the ecosystem. So, if global warming is there, global warming is there, few species, they cannot adopt, they cannot adopt high temperature. I'm writing only temp, okay? High temperature, so they will be extinct. And the predators, they will be extinct, right? So that means the total ecosystem that has been disrupted. So increase in global temperature has made the fragility of the coral reefs even worse. Coral reefs even worse, and global warming that has the effect on the coral reefs that can lead to the loss of plant and animals lives. So already you know that due to the temperature rise, already we have a lot of effect. The coral reef, you can see under sea there will be some coral, and coral reef, that is, you can write this thing, coral reef, that is an underwater ecosystem characterized by reef building corals. And reefs are formed of colonies of coral polyps and held together by the calcium carbonate. And most coral reefs are built from stony corals, which polyps cluster in groups. So these coral reefs will not be there. There is a loss in that. So plants and animals lives also, they are in a threatened. They will be there is a threat on them. So this is the threat in the ecosystem. Now, the climate change. Global warming has led to the change in climatic condition. We know that there some may be drought, and due to that, it may be there is a place which becomes desert, and the climatic imbalances are there because you know that the carbon dioxide percentage and the oxygen percentage, these balance. This will be there is a imbalance in between these two gases, and we will be sufferer for that. So now spread of diseases. So global warming that leads to a change in the patterns of heat and humidity, right? Patterns of heat and humidity. And the movement of the this led to the movement of mosquitoes that carry and spread the diseases. So if heat is high at that time, you can see that in the summer you can see that the mosquito problem is high, but in winter season you can see that the mosquito problem is low. So if the temperature is high at that time, the mosquito movement will be high, and if mosquito movement will be high, whatever the diseases that spread that may be spreaded over by this that may be carried by these mosquitoes, like dengue, like malaria, so many other diseases also that can be increased. Now, high mortality rates due to an increase in floods, tsunamis, other natural calamities. Due to tsunamis, other natural calamities, average death increases. Also, such events can bring out spread of diseases, because you know that in the at the time of flood, the total water body that has been infected by the flood water. Okay, so this the drinking water, there is a scarcity in the drinking water, so that our defense system that will supply the drinking water, but it is not possible for a huge population. We have to give them the drinking water, required drinking water. So from this, the typhoid and all these diseases, it will be very dangerous after the flood condition. And here, due to the tsunami also, you can see that a large amount of homes and also huge amount of peoples, they are just washed away. They are just washed away due to the tsunami or any type of these calamities, natural calamities. And loss of natural habitat. A global shift in the climate leads to the loss of habitat of several plants and animals, because the high temperature, this high temperature and low humidity, that cannot be, the plants and animals, they cannot sustain this high temperature and low humidity. So what they will do, they will try to migrate from one place to another place. So if they will migrate, that means there is a possibility of the extinction of those species, and this is another major impact on of the global warming on biodiversity. So if there is extinction, that means there will be some biodiversity effect on the biodiversity. Okay, so that much for today. Thank you all. Thank you.